Welcome to this issue of the podcast. My name is Richard Smith. You can find out more about me over at therichardsmith.com. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world listening to this. Richard Smith here with a special 2019 production of the podcast. Today, very, very simple subject. I'm going to be talking to you about this whole retail situation. If you're a retailer, if you own a shop, if you sell anything, then this is for you. The doom mongers were out before Christmas, as they normally are, letting us know that retail is history. If you're a retailer of any description, if you're selling anything, then it's all doom and gloom. You're not going to survive. The high street's not going to survive. Business rates are going to screw you into the floor, and there is some truth in that. But as always, it's a little bit of BS. I'm going to try not to swear in this podcast, although I can't guarantee that. But it's 2019. If you're a retailer, if you've got a high street shop, if you've got a business that sells anything, what are the issues? What is it you can do? And I want to add some value to this. I've got a vested interest. I've just rolled out a very simple retail product online, an e-commerce option. But that wasn't the driver or the problems with retail are not the drivers. I just feel that there's a gap in the market, a massive gap in the market for a low cost, fully controllable e-commerce platform. But that's not what this is about. This is about me giving you some solid guidance in order to move your retail business forward, or any business you've currently got. So let's consider this in a bullet point format. I'm going to talk about a handful of things, but the first thing I'm going to talk about is the environment. Now, if you're selling anything, you need to create what the industry calls, or what the marketers call a buying environment. And realistically, what's that like for you? What does that mean? What have you specifically done in order to create an environment that's conducive to making sales? As you know full well, if you walk into most high street stores, the staff are bloody miserable. Everyone's got a surly face on. No one really wants to be there, and they certainly don't want to be serving you. And that's a problem, because for me, and I'm sure from your point of view as a consumer, the last thing you want is to walk into a shop and see a load of miserable faces with people that really, CBA as far as you're concerned. So you need to look at that very carefully, and make sure that what you're creating is, and what you're offering is something that actually makes a bit of sense. And if that means you've got to get rid of a few bodies in order to bring some new staff in that are going to be positive and happy to sell, if you walk into a reasonable restaurant and the maitre d's there with a smile on his face, or if you walk into a bar and there's a barman or a barmaid that's got a smile on their face and wants to have a conversation with you, you immediately feel at ease. You immediately feel like this is a place that you could eat, that you could have a drink, or this is a kind of place you could do business. Even if the products don't quite stack up, even if they don't match exactly what it is you're looking for, you'll take a view on that. And if the service is good, if someone's happy to... And I don't understand. What's the point of being effing miserable? Why do staff walk around with the raving up? If they don't want to do the job, go and move on. But also at the same time, when you're looking at that environment, the environment you're creating, what needs creating? What needs adding to it? What can you do in order to make the experience a bit better for your customers? Does that mean that you've got to be creating a late night opening? Does that mean you've got to do an early morning opening? Does that mean that you've got to bring some more products in, or some simple products? What is that? Just taking some time out to think about exactly what needs to be created in order to make sure that the environment you're working with is the best it can be. And if we look at what next to doing, which I think is really quite interesting, although I'm not convinced it's the right way forward, but it's certainly something to think about, is that if you walk into a next branch, you've got normally got a Costa in there. I think they did have Starbucks at one time, but they've obviously negotiated a deal with Costa, so you can go there for a coffee. They've got Paperchase in there, which is, I like Paperchase. I'm a bit of a freak in relation to, pens and having stuff to write on. But they've also got Virgin, so they're creating a whole retail environment so that you can walk in there and have a bit of an experience. And of course, Next are hoping that you're actually going to buy something from them, which is a good thing. That's what they're there to do. They're there to sell clothing, and of course, they'll obviously be taking a small commission from the likes of Paperchase and from the likes of Virgin, and I'm sure from Costa. So, creating this experience, this shopping experience, is this something you need to do? It may mean, of course, that you want to take your retail outlet and put that inside, put yours inside a Costa, put yours inside a Next, put yours inside a Currys, PC World, wherever it happens to be. If you've got some sort of cross marketing, cross fertilization you can do, then why shouldn't you? So don't dismiss this stuff just because the big boys are doing it. Doesn't mean that the small boys can't do it as well. As a retailer, you need to be making it easy, providing online and offline or offline to online, making sure that you've got click and collect, paid in advance, and unpaid click and collect. A couple of the car parts sellers actually make a lot of sales based on the click and collect model, the unpaid click and collect model, because it means that you can click on your order, put it in there, and pick it up within 2 days. If you change your mind, it's not an issue, but you do know that the item is there waiting for you, and a lot of the web designers will quote 10 or 15 or £20,000 to put in place this simple stuff, but it's actually very, very straightforward to be able to do, obviously, once you know how to do it. This whole thing about online lists, if you go to Amazon allow you to set up a wish list or a birthday list or a save for later list or an email reminder list or a repeat order list. Very few other retailers allow you to do that. It's something that you should be doing, because what happens is that a customer will maybe look at what your offer is now, look at the products you're providing. They may walk in store and see something they kind of like but are not sure about, giving them the opportunity to go back and to be able to order it online or to be able to hold it in their account so they remember that what it is they wanted. Makes perfect sense. So, don't ignore these wish lists and birthday lists. And you say, Debenhams and a couple of the other larger retailers used to do this with wedding lists or engagement lists. Now, why can't you do that for a birthday list? Why can't I have that for just a wish list? And from my point of view, and I know I'm not normal, but yeah, what's normal? I hear you saying. But from your point of view as a retailer, saying, well, if someone walks in your shop and sees something they like, a widget, they see a widget and they decide not to buy it now for whatever reason, they decide not to buy it now, being able to provide them with the facility to click on a button within your website to save that as a wish list that could be picked up on their birthday, could be picked up for a Christmas present. The bottom line is these little things will allow you to make more sales. We've also got the option of coming soon, products that you've got coming in store, next week, next month, promoting those using social media, promoting them online, promoting them offline will allow, pre-orders to be made. Budget payments and laydown plans. Now, people laugh at me when I say this, but I've got a couple of clients that are doing very well with this, particularly on the larger items. So let's say you've got an item in your shop at £300 or £400 or £500. A laydown plan will offer an instalment arrangement for that your consumer, your client, can actually pay for that in advance over a series of weeks or months, so that they don't take it away immediately. They don't take it away when they're paid for it. Exactly the same with budget payments. We pay for our car insurances and all of our other stuff on a monthly basis. Well, there's no reason why you can't be offering that to your customers. It's relatively straightforward now with the systems. He says laughingly, all these things are pretty straightforward according to me, but with a little bit of jiggery pokery, it's possible to have these things in place. Laydown plans, I know it's so bloody old and I know it's so bloody American, but laydown plans actually work for the larger purchases. But let's go back a stage. If you're a kitchen fitter or a double glazing installer or whatever it is, the lumpier item stuff, a builder doing, 15, 20 and 30,000 extensions, to be able to give your client the option to pay for that over a period of months as the work is done on a direct debit type facility means you don't have to keep chasing money. It's another bit of stress you don't have to worry about. You put it on direct debit, you collect, divide the cost of the project up by the amount of the job, and over a period of months your money, well, that would transform your cash flow. Just to just want to put that out there. It's something you can do. Use of vouchers. For those of you that have been across my website, you'll know full well I rant and rave about Groupon and Voucher and how this doesn't make any sense. But from your point of view, as a small retailer, being able to use the voucher model to be able to sell vouchers, and again, what you're looking to do is, rather than just hardcore selling, you're looking to have a conversation with your potential customers. We're all in blooming sales. We're all trying to sell something. We've all got something to offer. And the idea from your point of view is being able to have that conversation without being all salesy. Selling vouchers and having conversations about vouchers using the social media platforms would allow your business to start to raise its profile. And as I said, if your web designer or your web expert can't help with any of these, get in touch, ideally before you go out of business, because a lot of this stuff is quite easy to implement. So on this here whole issue of engagement, social sharing, let me put my teeth back in, social sharing and influencer marketing. All of the big players are using influencer marketing. All of the big players are tying up with people that have got 10 or 20 or 30 or 40,000 or a million followers, and they're using that for product placement. I'll be honest with you, I think it's a little bit. I don't know. This is a strange thing about it, but it works. So if there's a fit there for your business, if you think that particular influencer can give you access to a market that fits for your products, there's no reason why you shouldn't use it. But there are tips and tricks you need to do. If you're going to use the influencer marketing, you need to make sure the arrangement you put in place makes sense. But you also need to make sure that you start to collect the client data so that you own the data rather than that being owned by the influencer. That's vitally important. With all of your marketing, being able to collect client information and having that stored in a safe place means that you've always got something to go on. And I'll come back to that in a second. But on this other issue about engagement, what is it? So what is it you stand for as a business owner? What is it? What is it you do? What is it? Is it a quality product? Is it a bespoke product? Is it a product that is only available through you? Is it one that's made by South American Indians? Is it one that's I want to know what is it about you? Why do you do it? What is it you stand for? An example of this is green topics. If you are a business that insists on being environmentally friendly, you can start to use that thing you stand for to provide dedicated contact, to start to get PR, to start to look at dedicated influencers. But working out what it is you stand for is something that makes perfect sense, especially as most of the marketplace we look at is all grey. It is all grey. Everyone looks the same. Everyone's saying the same thing. Buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me. Cheapest, best price, etc., etc. No one's actually trying to differentiate themselves. Those that do, if you look at Body Shop, for example, only sells body stuff. There are loads of little things you can do in order to be able to put yourself out there. More importantly, if you're looking to negotiate with other trade partnerships, perhaps for joint ventures, perhaps to get articles in magazines, perhaps working with charities, perhaps working with friends and family, refer a friend type scheme. Standing for something makes a lot of sense because it will allow a third party, an existing customer of yours, to refer people to you based on what it is you stand for. More importantly, going back to the joint ventures, if you're a green retailer of environmentally friendly clothing, it's another topic that's on the agenda, following on from Stacey Dooley's show a couple of weeks ago about how ungreen the clothing industry is. But if you're a green clothing manufacturer or retailer, that will allow you to have a conversation with a green electricity company, with a green transport company, with a green motor manufacturer. So there are joint venture opportunities where you can cross market to like-minded people. Very powerful and simple tools. But you do need to stand for something, and you do need to put yourself out there. And I keep coming on to this. I keep saying it time and time again, but things are not really working like they once were, and changes are coming whether you like it or not. And the key for you is this: do you want to be a facilitator of change, or do you want to be the victim of it? Because if you're going to be a bloody victim of it, then that's where you are. You'll be looking at your existing business, and it could be struggling. It could certainly not be doing all of the things it could be doing. And this is about, the reason we have a business is because we enjoy the lifestyle. We want the freedom. But as you know full well, sometimes in business it's not always like that. It is a bit of a struggle, and it's possible to certainly start to make it easier. Going back to this issue about the local barmaid or barman again, customers want to feel good. Do you want to make it easy for them or hard? Having the environment which makes customers smile is a very powerful thing. But again, look around at some of the retail environments. Go and do some shopping yourself. Have a look round. Staff are bloody miserable. They are bloody unhelpful. It's rare. It's rare that you're going to walk into a shop or a retail organisation and be bowled over by the level of service. But an interesting one on that, there was a documentary a couple of weeks ago. I watched it on one of the obscure sort of catch-up channels, but it was originally done by Channel 5, I think, about Liberty of London, and how the staff with inside Liberty, I don't know it's a top-end store, I know it's an upmarket store, but you can start to use some of the principles. But the staff in there all understood that there needs to be a level of engagement, a level of follow-up with their customers. So they were collecting client data, and they were building relationships by personal phone calls and personal notes, and probably emails and follow-up, because it's vitally important that you're able to do that with your customers. It's vitally important that you let them know that you are there for them. You let them know that you've got XYZ in stock that they might be interested in, because they want to feel part of. They want to feel loved. They want to be loved. It's just this whole dating thing. I was talking about this a lot, where this whole sex on the first date thing. It doesn't happen. Do you need to have a relationship with the person? There needs to be a level of engagement before you have sex. That's the way it works. And if it does happen on a first date, it's probably not going to be that good a relationship. Some people have a go at me. I'm quite happy for people to have a go at me. I don't care. But the analogy is perfect. This whole sex on a first date thing is vitally important. And the better the engagement you have with a customer, the more you'll sell to them. The more in love you'll be, or they will be with you. And as far as this, data protection issue is concerned, there are a small hoop to jump through, but get over it. That's the way it is. No choice. But as far as anything else is concerned, it's all an excuse. The evidence is that customers want to be loved. They want to buy more. They want the interaction. They do want smiley faces to deal with, and they want the same person when they return to the shop. So from your point of view, building the relationships, making the relationship different, making the business stand out a little, and all of that becomes really easy. But this is important. So looking at your existing processes, looking at what you're currently doing won't help you, because it's not working like it once did. You do need to be looking outside of the box. Don't particularly like that term, but you need to be considering very carefully what the options are, what's working for everyone else, and what you can do. Sitting back with your head in your hands saying, "Woe, it's me, it's all going wrong," won't help. But do the exercise I suggested earlier about popping out to go and buy something else. Try up market and mid-market. Try a couple of retailers that you perceive as doing better than you. Go and buy something. Go and try to buy something. Make some notes on the experience. What can you learn? What can you get back? Was it better? Was it worse? And so the whole thing is being able to build on this. What can you do to make the difference? Whatever it is, don't scrap what you're currently doing. Don't stop what you're currently doing. Anything you do differently has to be tested alongside of it. This is a great mistake that I see happen with so many people, particularly in the sales and business environment, where they say, "Oh, well, that's not working like it once would. That system there, that's rubbish. We're not using that anymore. We don't like it. We're going to run with this." And they scrap the old system in favour of the new system. Well, if the new system doesn't work, you're completely shafted. and I've seen it happen. HMV is a great example of that. New system, boof. A few months later, a few years later, it's gone to the wall. Okay, there are probably other reasons with HMV, but what you need to be doing is keeping the existing systems running alongside and test the systems alongside of it. And this applies to all of your marketing, to AdWords campaigns. It applies to everything. If you've currently got something working, do that. Anything else you want to try out is tested alongside it. Vital important thing. If you do that, if you get that right, I can assure you that things will start to change for you. Meanwhile, of course, if you're having a conversation with any of your customers, ask them what they think should change, what they would like to see. Have a bloody conversation. Be human. Just be human with your customers. Anyway, a bit of a ranty one this week. Thanks very much for listening. If you've liked this, if it's been helpful, pop over to iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you found the podcast from. Leave a review, rate me, and get in touch with me if you think I can help you. More than happy to have a couple of conversations on that. www.therichardsmith.com/contact. And I look forward to the next podcast with you. Thanks very much for hanging around.